tryna say I'm only in the me. Got a code with my dogs, can get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Amen. Amen.
Game 7, best 2 words in sports, and we got it in the best series we could have possibly asked for. The Nuggets and the Clippers. We've said before the playoffs that this was going to be up there in terms of elite series. And throughout the series, everybody's been calling it the best series. And it's lived up to it every step of the way. And it's all culminating to one final Game 7 in Denver. JJ, how are we feeling about this one?
I'm excited for this. This has definitely been my favorite series. I think probably right behind that's probably gonna be Rockets series. But this is the one I was excited for coming into the playoffs, and still excited going to Game 7. So hopefully we get a good one here.
Oh yeah, and I think after Game 6, what we thought everybody was going to talk about, the Jokic versus Zubac series or Kawhi Leonard series, it's quickly turned into the Nicholas Batum series. He has somehow been the key to unlocking everything for the Clippers in Game 6. Their rating, for his on-off splits is ridiculous. And we're going into Game 7 where Nicholas Batum is probably the hottest topic of discussion, which is just crazy to think. And it's just a perfect summary of just how amazing this series has been. That's where we're at. So let's get into it. Last game, Ty Lue said before the game he was thinking about changing the starting lineup, didn't, and then to start the second half, started Batum, and there's no going back now. They just took care of business. It felt like every single possession was just dominated by the Clippers from the second half on. And by the way, the Nuggets played well throughout that second half. They shot like 58%, something crazy throughout the third quarter, and the Clippers still were just pulling away the entire game, because Nicholas Batum was somehow making that big of a difference. Keep in mind, I think he only shot 1 of 3 in the second half. It felt like he took 25 shots with how impactful he was during that period. So let's get into it. JJ, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about that Nicholas Batum game?
Plus 12 differential. He's making an impact when he's on the court. And I think, let me see what he is when he's off the court. Because, I don't know how we didn't recognize that like Batum was making this much of an impact this entire series, but negative 7.3 differential when he's off the court. They got to keep him on the court. He has to play 36, probably 35, 36 minutes here at least. Probably even more than that, to be honest. I don't see how Chris Dunn's really going to get any significant minutes here. Watching some of the film, like he was struggling on some of the short rolls, not the floor spacer that Batum is, and that floor spacing significantly helps. And it puts that Nuggets defense in a tough spot, like who to really defend. You can't really sag off and help, like having Chris Dunn on the court. Batum has taken the role of defending Jamal Murray and did a solid job last game. I think we'll continue to see that. So. There's not much of a drop off when you put Batum in, but you're gaining so much more offensively. And I think that really helps a lot here for Clippers to try and get this Game 7.
Oh, yeah. I mean, me and you talked about, we were high on Chris Dunn and what we thought his impact would be coming into the series. And a lot of that was for defensive purposes. But seeing Batum come in, it makes you realize just how much of I don't want to say net negative he was offensively, because it's not that he was that bad, but Denver has to drastically change their whole defensive structure when Chris Dunn's not on the floor and Batum is. And it opens up the pick and roll game for Harden. It opens up more high quality shots for Norman Powell. They can't blitz Kawhi as much as they were, just by the fact they have to respect that shot coming from the corner, especially the fact that it's a no dip shot, which like very understated, that having that no dip where it's that quick of a release, you can't help off of him and then recover. Like there's no chance. So you have to stay with him, and it opens everything up offensively. In hindsight, it makes so much sense why they're so much better with him on the court. And then defensively, the biggest thing for me was Jokic, because we like Chris Dunn because of how much trouble he was causing for Murray throughout the regular season and early in the series. But what we didn't realize is the way that they had to defend that pick and roll with either Zubac in a drop or to have Zubac come up and either switch or blitz and everybody else had to rotate around, it wasn't doing them any favors. But now with Batum guarding Murray, they can switch that pick and roll and just put Batum onto Jokic. Batum's not going to be the defender that Zubac is, but he's sure as shit a bigger body than Chris Dunn in there, and he can hold his own a lot more. So it's like a puzzle piece that even though he's not out there getting 20 rebounds and 20 points and 10 assists, it just makes everything connect so much better for the Clippers. And it happened so late in the series that I don't really know what the answer is for Denver, especially they can only go 6 deep into their rotation, maybe 7 if we're pushing with Peyton Watson, and that's a big stretch in a game 7, by the way. And one of those 6 is Michael Porter Jr., who can't lift his left arm because of that injury. So I don't know if there is a real answer other than just hoping the Clippers don't make their shots. And I'm talking more on the defensive end because on the offensive end, it's going to be Jokic, and more Jokic. Just have Jokic make all the reads you need him to, and you live with the consequences. But that's what it's been for 6 games, no matter who's on the court. That's how it's going to be for Game 7.
Yeah. And I want to clarify something. It didn't filter correctly, so it's even worse. Negative 10.5 differential when Chris Dunn is on the court. And when you take him off the court, it's plus 14.1.
That's
keep him off the court. Yeah.
That's such a big swing. It's stuff like that like it's a very fresh reminder of, oh, that's why they have jobs as NBA coaches and we don't. It's like we'll be right a lot, but then there's moments like this where we're like, how did we miss that? And it's because it's not our job to be aware of that. That's Ty Lue's job. Our job is to react to what Ty Lue does. So
exactly.
Tip the cap to Ty Lue. Great job. And now we're in a Game 7 scenario where it feels like the Clippers have the better game plan, but at the same time, Denver still has Nikola Jokic, the best player in the world. And it's just a matter of which one's going to prevail in the end. Because a lot of volatility happens in one game. A lot of volatility. So with anybody's game, I mean, books have this set as basically a pick 'em on the betting lines. So it makes sense. I know I was rambling on a lot about the Clippers. What do we like about the Nuggets side?
I think Christian's going to have to step up here. I think he could be in a good spot to knock down some shots because I think it was the third quarter, he had like 3 or 4 3-point attempts. They was just leaving him wide open pretty much. I think he's going to be a key factor in trying to get them the lead here. Obviously, MPJ, hurt shoulder. They're going to need more Westbrook minutes. He's been solid offensively and defensively. Just that, that's a little energizer bunny, especially getting on the boards. Those rebounds really help that team. Trying to think who else is going to be important.
Aaron Gordon's going to have to be finals run Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to get to. And it's going to be tough for him because, they switched up the matchup last game.
Yep.
They put Kawhi Leonard on him instead of Kawhi being on MPJ. So it's gonna be tough. But I think he's really gonna have to work on using his strength there. But Kawhi's really wasn't leaving him open like that. So obviously Aaron Gordon, even if he's not getting his corner threes, he's still gonna be in the dunker spot. He's gonna try and attack the mismatches in transition. I think that's gonna be a key emphasis here, attacking in transition, because they have had success there. It's just they don't always get their chances because of the slow pace of both of these teams.
The hard thing for that is that both these teams are playing clean basketball. They're not.
Yeah.
Neither team's allowing a lot of offensive rebounds. Neither team's allowing a lot of turnovers. It's been a lot of half-court offense, which is not good for Christian Braun and Aaron Gordon. So I will say the big plus for Aaron Gordon right now is with Michael Porter Jr. dealing with his shoulder, you can tell there's been a bigger reliability onto Aaron Gordon to crash the offensive glass. His offensive rebound chances have soared throughout the series. So I do expect that to continue, but it also means that Kawhi has to be in more defensive rebound positioning. So that's been a thing that we get to focus on as well, because with Batum in there defending Murray, they've also switched, like you said, Kawhi onto Aaron Gordon, Harden onto Christian Braun, and Norman Powell onto Michael Porter Jr. And we've seen the last few games, Denver's game plan has been to target James Harden, which is why Christian Braun got so much more usage last game. James Harden refuses to go over a screen. If it's Jamal Murray, he doesn't care. If it's Jokic, he doesn't care. He is not stepping over a screen. So whoever is being defended by Harden has open looks. It's just a matter of knocking them down. And I do truly think that from what I've heard of Christian Braun and how he's had last year's Game 7 stick in his mind, not because he had a bad game, but because he didn't get the minutes that he wanted enough to make an impact. He seems more pumped about this Game 7 than I think it's mostly talked about with any player in a Game 7. And it's not like his role is that of like a Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. Like, that's not his role. So to hear it talked about that much, and for him to be in the opportunity that he now has, being defended by Harden and having to step up in the absence or presence of Michael Porter Jr.'s usage, I think it's going to be a pretty big sway in where the decision of this game goes. If he comes out and shoots 50% from three and scores 15 points, that might be enough. If he goes 1 of 5 from three, barely cracks double digits, if that, only gets 3 rebounds, that might be enough to sway to the Clippers. Like, it really is going to be that close a game where the 4th, 5th guy for Denver could be the decider in this one, and the 4th, 5th guy for the Clippers, Nicholas Batum, is the decider of the game. So we're kind of in that era of basketball. We're in that deep of the series. It's been that tight of a series, and it's been as entertaining as you could possibly imagine for that reason. So that's where we're at on that. Talked about the matchups, talked about what we can expect from both teams offensively and defensively. We'll get to the parlay, but before I get to that, JJ, who's your pick? Tell us why.
Pick is going to have to be the Clippers. I think Batum has really been the X factor this entire series from what it looks like. I can't believe we missed it. Shame on us, It's supposed to be our job when we over here just messing it up. Yeah, can't get them all, but we'll be ready for the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think just the pick and roll, I just don't think they have enough answers to do. Well, the Nuggets don't have enough answers to do something other than the pick and roll to really get this offense going. I would say the Clippers have a deeper bench. Benches really matter in the playoffs. And like Batum, going back to Batum, spacing the floor, they can't just help off of Chris Dunn again, and it really didn't help them at the Nuggets at all there. So allowing these superstars to go one-on-one, just James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, they're going to do what they do, It's what they do. It's what they get paid to do. And yeah, I don't think the Nuggets have enough answers to stop that.
I'm with you. I'm going to have to take the Nuggets. It's been proven at this point that Nicholas Batum is such a big X factor in this series. And there's 2 things that really stand out to me in making this pick. One is that the Clippers are the latest team to make a big adjustment that swayed things in their favor. And I don't know, the Nuggets don't have 1 or 2 games to figure out what their counter to that adjustment is. It's now. So unless they come out the gate first quarter and they have a perfect counter for it, there's not going to be enough time to figure out how to go back at it. And the second thing for me is, I said from the start of the series that the Nuggets really only have one form of offense, and it's to go to Jokic and hammer that 2-man game with Jokic and Murray. But the deeper you get into that series, the more and more reps the Clippers have to figure it out and figure out the best way to defend it. So now we're as deep into a series as you can get. You have to think the Clippers have not a foolproof game plan. It is Nikola Jokic, but the best game plan you can imagine. So to have that, I think that works in their favor a lot, because I don't think you can say the same thing about the Nuggets defense. So give me the Clippers, and let's get into this parlay. Caesars has a boost on this that's not reflecting this plus 440, so make sure you add that as well. This is on Caesars. You can get Clippers money line, Kawhi Leonard, rebounds plus assists, and Batum, 3-point field goals. We talked about Batum stretching the floor for them. Makes a big difference. And for Kawhi, with Batum in the lineup, has moved Kawhi to defending Aaron Gordon. One, that means Kawhi can't get blitzed, and when he does, Batum is an option. Those assists correlate. And two, with him defending Aaron Gordon, it puts him in rebounding position a lot more frequently. So lock that in. Plus 440 on Caesars. I think it's plus 410 on DraftKings, and I want to say plus 370 on FanDuel. All of them are offering different variations of boosts and no sweat tokens. So make sure you take advantage of those, and make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video, because we're going to get hot. You're not going to want to miss it, and I want you guys cashing out with us. So like, subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next show. Let's enjoy a great Game 7 tonight, and we got another one tomorrow. You won't want to miss that either.